Yeah, this is harder than I thought it would be. Nah, man, it's messy. Yes! I'm gonna Tom Morello-ify it. I hope I don't get sued for this. Woo! Yeah! That was sick. Hi, I'm Eric Gerber. Sorry I've been a bit quiet these last couple of weeks / months. We've just moved to a new city. Also, I got to visit the beautiful Queenstown for a week just before that, which was an amazing experience. So really stoked about that. But it's really good to be back with another video. In the last two videos, I've been sort of talking about Sleep Token and how they use songwriting and lyrics. This video is going to be about the music, so the riffs, the rhythms, the production, the melodies, the chords. This is the third and last video I'm going to do on Sleep Token. Now, I'm actually quite excited about this video because I'm trying a totally new format. I'm actually going to write a Sleep Token inspired song, or a song in the style of Sleep Token, and I'm going to sort of narrate my way through and explain the thinking process, as well as a couple of like songwriting concepts and theories while I go. We're going to do everything from listening to writing to recording and a little bit of mixing as well. So please let me know in the comments if you like this new format. I'll also put the Guitar Pro tabs and as well as the stems as well as the DIs up on my website. So I'll leave a link to that in the description. If you want to support this channel, you can go and buy that for about the same price as a cup of coffee. And then I'll also put the time codes in the description. If you want to skip ahead to a specific part of this process, then you can do that. Now, learning how to write a song in the style of an artist isn't about learning how to copy that artist. It's really just you need to be a student before you can be a master. Just like when you started learning guitar, you had to learn songs of existing bands and guitarists before you could start creating your own music. In the same way, we have to do that with songs, where we need to actually sort of study a songwriting concept to be able to eventually add that to our own songwriting. For the sake of consistency, I'm going to stick with the summoning because that's what I did for the other two videos, and I'm really going to be focusing on more sort of the modern metal side of their sound. I know they do a lot of genre blending. I know they have like long moody pop ballads that happen, but for this tutorial I'm more going to focus on their brand of modern metal. Right, now without further ado, let's start writing a song in the style of Sleep Token. Here we go. That could be something we can start our song with as well, is just trying to find like a cool synth pad and some sound effects to add in the beginning of the song. Okay, so let's just figure out what tuning they're in. That's the note that goes to there. Yeah, so they're in E flat or D sharp. That's what they're tuned to. So I don't have a guitar set up in that tuning, so I'm just, for the sake of creativity, I'm just going to use Neural DSP here to digitally tune down 3 steps. Which I think sounds close enough. It doesn't sound as good as a real guitar tuned in drop D sharp, but it sounds good enough for our purposes here. Okay, that's good. Cool. So we got our tuning. Now, let's see what's happening musically here in this section. What's happening there? So it's just basically a Phrygian riff with that sort of flat 5, natural 5, semitone clash. So it's not quite a strict Locrian modal interchange, but it is sort of borrowing from that a little bit. Or you could think of it as borrowing from the blues scale. You take your pick. Let's see what's happening. So we've got a clear sort of 6/8 feel. And there it sort of changes and throws you off a little bit. So there are some odd time signatures happening. So let's see if we can figure out what is actually happening in terms of time signatures and like rhythmic phrasing, so that we can try and do something similar. I think I'm going to keep the 6/8 feel, but I'm going to not do the exact same time signature changes, but I am going to throw in some time signature changes. Before I move on to start recording in a DAW, I always start with Guitar Pro or some kind of MIDI composition tool. So let's start. And I'll do like a same relative-ish tempo. A little slower, which I actually don't mind. Just do like a little drum fill. Like that. Yeah, that's fine. It might be too similar to the original already, but I'll reassess once I've figured out what's happening time signature wise here. Okay, this is what it sounds like to me. The accents might be tricking me a little bit here. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, verse. Yeah, that's how I hear it. What should we call this song? Something clever and funny. I'm gonna call it the math mining. Get it? Because summoning, sum is like math. I know, you don't have to tell me, I'm super funny, I know. Yeah, that's why the ladies love me, is for my sense of humor. The math mining. Love it or hate it, that's its name now. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to create something with the 6/8 feel, snare hit on 4, but I want the rhythm to feel slightly different. I'm definitely not going to use the same time signature changes, but I do want it to feel like a little odd, that the one lands every now and then where you don't expect it. I just want to first flesh out a sort of basic 6/8 feel with guitar and drums before I move any further. And like a little riff I'm going to use as a filler just before every repeat. Okay, now they're going 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is called a polyrhythm. So the cymbals is doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but the kick is doing 1, 2, 3, 4. So both are evenly spaced. So I want to find a different polyrhythm I can play here. So they're using 3/4. I want to see if I can do like a, I don't know. Let's try it out. I can't think of another polyrhythm over 6. Unless I make it hella complicated. Could go 8, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that's just gonna sound too busy, too complicated. Maybe polyrhythm's not the way to go here. Maybe I'll just do something like, I won't restrict myself to making it a polyrhythm. I'll just sort of do just some kind of different rhythm that's not too complex. Let's look at it this way. They've got like an offbeat, onbeat, offbeat, onbeat, offbeat. So maybe I can do the opposite. I can do like offbeat, onbeat. Now this is too similar. You know what? I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm actually gonna go 4/4, but triplet feel. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 2, 2. It's got a very similar feel to a 6/8 or a 6/4 because it's still divided into groups of 3. Because this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feels a lot similar, very similar to 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. It's just a polyrhythm short of feeling like a 6/8. But there's a few more sort of rhythmic options. It's also going to make me think a little differently, because the way I'm going now, I'm just going to end up writing a song that's way too similar. Yeah, this already feels way different to me. That drum fill feels a little flat. Feels a little like boring. Yeah, maybe I can go like something like that. So I want to go into this with like a choke, a drum choke, and then I've got like and then we're in. They do like to stick to like just a very sort of basic root note kind of vibe. Like the riffs don't really stand out or grab your attention. It's really almost just like purely like a rhythmic element in the song. That's what it sounds like to me. It's really more like drum and vocal centric. So I don't want to be too flashy on the guitar. Just trying to stick to sort of basic root notes as much as I can. Man, it's hard writing simple music. My stuff like that. But it's really hard to sort of limit yourself to just sort of sticking to like simple one note kind of lines. Yeah, this is harder than I thought it would be. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Just simple. Maybe I'll do like just to make that first hit feel a bit more impactful, do like a pre-bend, something like that. I feel like we're getting somewhere now. We're finally starting to gain some momentum here. Do like a little anticipated bend on the second time. Or delayed. Yeah. Just a little offbeat accent on the kick and guitar there. I'll just put like an extra 2/4 bar. That won't feel too disruptive. Something like that. Yeah, maybe. I'm feeling a 7/4 here. I'm feeling a 7/4. Yeah. I don't want to go to that 0 both times. Too repetitive. I'm just going to stay on the 2 there. Okay, and then on the second bar here, I want to do some weird sort of not stabs, but just unexpected little rhythmic phrase, as well as an odd time signature. I wonder if I can do that with triplets. I want to make a bar, but making the triplets feel like 8 notes. This will be a 3/4 bar, but the drums are going to make it feel like a momentary 8th note pulse instead of a triplet pulse. So I want it to feel like... That's what I want it to feel like, instead of the reality, which would be... actually theoretically how it's going to be, but I want to make it feel like eighth notes. And the way we do that is where we place accents on the drums. Okay, let's hear this, if this works. Yeah, that feels do-do-do-do-do-do, and then back to a triplet feel. So it temporarily feels like let's just switch to eighth notes out of nowhere. Like eighth notes in a different tempo, I mean. Yeah. Okay, let's just see what we got so far. They keep it quite short, so we need to wrap this up now, and one more bar, and then into the verse. I want to bring it back to that last no diddle, and then back into the verse from that. And then they do like a high slide. Maybe I'll just do like noise, like a harmonic. Yeah, maybe I'll just do like a drum fill and guitar fill, like a trade-off. And then into the verse. One thing to note about what I kind of like about. Let me actually just first test that theory before I start spewing off on nonsense. Yeah. Okay. So what they're doing here is in the verse is they're basically doing the Tom Morello trick, right? You have a riff. And then that's the main riff, and then the verses you do the same thing but just all palm muted. Right? They do the same in and then the verses just so same riff, just palm muted. Instead of big cymbals, it's like closed hats. So basically, Sleep Token is doing that exact thing. So that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to pick a section of this riff that I've made in the intro, and I'm just going to tone it down, palm mutes, closed hats. Maybe I'll do some like little hat fills and little splashes and you name it, just to make it a bit more interesting. But essentially, it's just going to be the same riff repeated. So what they did is they just took their 6/4 formula that they had in the first half of the intro, and then they keep repeating that in the verse. To make it feel a little bit more structured with that repetition, rather than the intro, which is just chaotic, unpredictable. So this 4-bar sequence, I'm gonna turn into a more tame version. I'm gonna Tom Morello-ify it. I hope I don't get sued for this. Okay, so let's first fix the drums. Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, that's what I'll do the second time round. Maybe the first time I won't do that. Maybe I won't do that the first time. Keep it simple and then make it more complicated later once the ear is used to the phrase. And then I do want to add like a little hi-hat. Okay, then in the pre-chorus they drop down to the open string, so they drop down a tone. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm going to do something else instead. I just don't know what yet. Let's listen from the top. Maybe I do one repeat with the root note just changes but then goes back, just to add a bit of variety. And then no 7/4 bar. I think instead of a 7/4 bar, I'm just gonna keep it simple, just 4/4. Turn this into a 4/4 bar. Maybe I'll just do like a little build up, like slowly increase in intensity and just end like a bop, like a stab. Let's try it. And like one bar of something. Could be vocal, could be a new guitar line, and then just like a silent bar into the chorus. That could be cool. Since they are a very vocal driven band, it'd be nice to have that kind of space for the vocal in that part. Cool. Now, I've got an intro, verse, and I just need a chorus. Let's listen to the chorus here. Okay, so this is interesting. So, the key of our chorus in this song, at a fourth away, perfect fourth interval away from the original key, and it's just in a normal minor key, right? What they're doing is they're actually playing in Phrygian, but then going to the relative minor relative to Phrygian. So they're playing in F Phrygian and then going to B flat Aeolian. So they're actually, everything they're doing, it feels like a key change, but it actually isn't. It's actually all in the same key. They're just making Phrygian, in the verses and intro, they're just making Phrygian feel like it's the key, our root note, our home note. And then in the choruses, they're making the relative minor, the Aeolian, feel like it's home and root note. Almost like there's a key change, but there isn't. Not strictly theoretically speaking. So very interesting the way they've done that. Am I going to do that? I don't know. I probably shouldn't. At this point, it's already sounding quite similar enough. I don't want to make it too similar by doing that as well. So it's just a 1 minor and a 6 major. Then the second time it goes 1 minor, 3 major, flat 3 major, and then flat 6 major. So that's the chord progression. It's very, very metal chords. Always the 1 minor and the flat 6 major. But that sort of lift the second time to the 1 major is quite nice, quite subtle. And the melody over that is obviously what makes the chorus. So something else that's happening here is rhythmically, they're taking that polyrhythm, so like 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? But they're turning those hits into a 4/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it feels like it's still the same groove but different, but it's a complete time signature change. Am I going to do something like that? I don't know. And also, I don't know if I'm going to do the same key change. I'm going to use the same chords-ish, but I'm still going to make this feel like home. So it's going to go 2 minor and 6 minor. Maybe I'll do just like a little full in between, because they do that in the verses. They do that octave slide up, like. So maybe I'll do that here, but in a different way. So I'll go something like that. What's my rhythm here? Maybe I can do a tempo change, like and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Dun dun ka dun dun ka, like that. Because if it's a very similar pulse to 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. Right? That's what I've got now. So I want to go something like that. Maybe. Might feel a bit awkward, but let's just try it. 2, 3. Nah, I'm not feeling that. Okay. Okay, so delete all that. Maybe it just needs 4/4. And repeat. And then I want to bring in the same guitar line as before. The one I started the intro with. Yeah, and then back into intro. That's badass. Pretty badass. So anyway, let's take a listen now that we have everything from start to finish on Guitar Pro. Here we go. Yes, save. I am happy. It's not perfect. I'm not sure if I love this part when it goes to the 5 here. It's not my favorite, but I still think it works. And done beats perfect, so there we go. Phase 1 done. I'm going to take a break now, and I'm probably going to come back to this tomorrow. I think most of the work is done. After this, I'm going to move to recording and programming everything in my DAW. So I think this was super productive. I think it sounds like something Sleep Token would write. What I have not written is vocals. And that is quite a big part of Sleep Token's sound. Now, I'm not going to try and write lyrics to this. It's going to take me ages. I'm not a good lyricist. But what I am going to do is I am going to just write a sort of lead guitar line. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. For now, I'm going to call it a day. See you later.
One eternity later.
All right, we are back. And I've done a few things. Okay, so I exported the MIDI from Guitar Pro and I imported it into Cubase, and I did some drum editing. So just for reference, I just want to show you guys what it sounds like before and after editing and how important MIDI editing is. This is with before editing with the drums. It sounds very mechanical. Everything is the same velocity. Doesn't have any human feel to it. And this is after editing. The most obvious thing is it's much louder once it's edited because I upped the velocity of everything, because in a part like this, a real drummer would be smashing his kit. He wouldn't be sort of like lightly hitting his drums, right? So all those details matter. Some of the hits are hard, some of the hits are soft, to try and mimic what a real drummer would play and where they would lose energy when they, doing like a full and things like that. And then with the bass, this is before. And then what I've done is I've brought the bass up an octave and added some hammer-ons and pull-offs, like here. Because there's not much clarity that low, at least to me. All you can hear is like that jangly, like, you can't really hear the fundamental note nice and clearly, which is going to matter later when I'm mixing this. So yeah, I've done that. Let me just quickly run you through what I'm using. So for drums, I'm just using the Sleep Token kit, which is very appropriate. I'm going to mix it later on and root it out and do some edits to it, but it really sounds great, really good starting point. And then for bass, I'm just using Gin Bass 2. I've got it on distortion, but you'll see that I've put the tone quite low. Right, and then last but not least, certainly not least, I've got a fresh set of strings on this guitar, which is probably the most underrated thing when you're recording yourself in studio. And fresh pair of strings makes a massive difference to your guitar tone because all the harmonic content is much richer. Alright, so we're going to start tracking. Okay, I've got my Guitar Pro open just so I can remind myself what I wrote. Okay, this is the other thing. Okay, when you got rings on, this happens. That comes through in the recording, so make sure you take it off. I've also got groove gear on, just so that I don't get any harmonics from the... like that, which happens a lot. When you're playing really hard and the body of the guitar is vibrating a lot, you get a lot of these guys ringing out and just a bit more unwanted overtones. Alright, I'm gonna go for a couple of takes of the intro now. Okay, that's as far as I went. That was first take. I'll split this up there. Okay, and we got to get 2 takes for each thing because we got left and right channels. Do you hear that? When I go to open, it's just so noisy. It's like really noisy. Okay, I'm going to record that separately. Let's hear that. Ah, man, it's messy. It's that release. First of all, we get that slide, and then we get all those extra strings. So what I'm trying to do is like a nice clean release, and then get there in time. Just got to do that while recording. No, man, it's still messy. Better. Okay, I'm gonna have to take that part separately. That was a good take up to there. Okay, I think that's it. Now we're going Tom Morello. Tom Morello vibes. Yes! Okay. Now we're on the chorus. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's hear what that sounds like. Nice. That bass guitar sticks out too much in those palm mutes. I'm gonna just add a little muting. Yeah. Sounds better. Okay, so that's pretty much everything recorded. Then it's just outro, which is the same as intro. So we can copy and paste it from the intro. Bit messy. That take. I can just get a cleaner take of that super noisy release. Okay, let's just retake that little part. Maybe that was it. Yeah, that last one. Okay, then we just got to end it with a single at the end. Good enough. Okay, we've got our tracked parts. Now I'm going to move on to editing. I'm just going to clean everything up. And then it's on to adding some synths. Because Sleep Token do love their synths. They got a lot of pads in the background, making everything sound bigger. So, alright, so editing is done. So next we are going to add some synth pads. So if we listen to this intro here. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's definitely like a there's a bit of movement there as well, but mostly there's like a drone on the root note. So I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to sort of add things as I go. Bring down this volume. Yeah, that sounds. There's like a bit of a clashy sound in the background there in the original, so I'm going to try and just do. So I'm just going to hold. Just like that. Just sort of follow the riff as we go. Yeah, I think that worked. Alright, I think that's good. I'll obviously put it down in the mix once I'm sort of mixing it properly. Okay, let's see what's happening in the verse here. I'm hearing do, which is a natural 6 from our F note. It's a weird note too, but it kind of works. It makes it sound like a bit eerie. Okay, so what I'm going to do instead here, because I don't want to copy too hard, I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to do like a ambient texture underneath everything rather than a pad. I'm just going to find like a texture I can put under the verse. That's quite cool. This. Not the whole thing, but if it's really soft in the back, it could sound pretty cool. Let's try that. And I'm gonna reverse it halfway through. It's gonna be like way back in the background. Yeah, like super subtle. And then I'm gonna reverse it back down. Yeah, just sort of going up and down, up and down. Let's put a bit of reverb on that. Do like a big hall. But it's just nice and subtle. It just adds like a little eerie little atmosphere. Yeah, that's cool. Then I'm going to bring the pad back for the chorus. Yeah, something like that. Or maybe if I bring the whole thing down an octave. Okay, I think I'm going to keep it low, but I'm going to add some high notes to it. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll just drop the same one we used in the intro again. Maybe some tension there with a flat 9 interval. Let's try that. Yeah, I think that's sounding pretty good. What other elements have we got here? Something you say or something you do. I'm hearing like glass charms. I don't know if I'm hearing that in the original or if it's just in my head, but I wanna try and find a glass charm sample so I can add it in here. Right, I think I found the one. Here it is. It's sort of got that eerie, slow little thing in the background. I might actually prefer that to the one I've got. Let's see what it sounds like. And I'm gonna slow it down. See what this sounds like. Yeah, I think that's quite cool. yeah, it just makes it feel eerie. I might just do a bit of a low pass filter because those high twinkles pop out quite bad. There. Yeah, that's better. I might actually just bring in that, bring in this halfway, this thing. Yeah, that's cool. We want a nice atmospheric, and with a bit of reverb on the guitars and snare, I think it'll do pretty well. But we'll get there when we mix. Now the last thing is we need a eerie intro. We can use some of the stuff that I've got here already, actually. It does have, that intro does have a wind chimey kind of vibe to it, but it doesn't specifically sound like a wind chime, if that makes sense. It sounds like, yeah, it's just something with a very similar vibe. And there's like a wind or like a happening that's sort of moving left and right. Very soft in the background. So let's start with that. I think I've got something that will work with that for that. Yeah, that's the one. We'll need to do a bit of a high pass filter on it. Got some crazy sub bass in there. Okay, and then just gonna put a light auto pan. Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna just keep it throughout. Sounds pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna bring those wind chimes because they sound pretty cool. Okay, now we just need to find a cool synth, like a cool drone synth. I think then this part will feel complete. Okay, so I'm just gonna mess around in Serum now and try and find some presets that work. It's quite cool. Nah. No. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I really like that. Let's try that. Just super harsh, but I'll low pass it. Yeah, that's quite cool. Very different to the Sleep Token song. It's a bit more sort of aggressive. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna save that, but I'm put it on the back burner. Try a few other synths. No. Yeah, that's cool. I think that'll be a good addition. That's cool. Does this thing still work? No, I don't think so, but it might sound cool in the band in. You know what, I'm gonna keep it, but I'm gonna do a swell. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like it. It's different to the original. It definitely comes in a bit more aggressive. It's not like super eerie and calm and then boom all of a sudden, like the Sleep Token song. It's more of a hint, like something aggressive is coming. That's what that synth feels like to me. That's cool. It's such a cool texture. I love that. It's all these little soft little sound effects and things that just add so much to the production of the song. Oh my god. I can't believe this, but I almost forgot about the chorus melody. One of like the most, important parts of the song, and I almost totally forgot about it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm going to record just like a lead guitar line, and I'm gonna play, trying to mimic what a vocal would do, sort of cheesy rock guitar line kind of vibe. Okay, so let's have a look at what the chorus is doing in terms of the chorus melody. essentially what he's doing here is outlining an arpeggio, which is the minor 9 arpeggio, right? We got our 2, we got our flat 3, we got our 2 again, and we got our flat 7. Okay, so that's this first half of a chorus, basically just singing an arpeggio. Very nice chords. Okay, so that's the first half of the chorus. Let's check second half. So what do we have here? It's basically singing a minor 11 arpeggio. It sounds very beautiful. It sounds like this. And he doesn't sing the flat 7 that time, so it's more like a minor add 11. But still, very nice, beautiful sound. And slow, the other thing is slow notes, right? Very slow movements. It's like either dotted quarter notes or half notes. It's always like a very long note value. So that's what I'm going to try and replicate more or less. So now I'm going to stop messing around a little bit until I got something that sounds good.
A few moments later.
Okay, I think I got it. Got the melody I'm going to use for the chorus. I'm going to do what I said initially and start the melody in that little gap of silence. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think it sounds very similar to the... It gave the same feeling, but it doesn't sound like, that sounds like the Sleep Token chorus melody. Not at all, I don't think. So definitely different enough, but uses the same sort of aesthetic, if I can call it that. Right, so next up is mixing. I just have to say, I'm not a mixing engineer, by the way. The mix I'm going to do is probably going to be very basic compared to some of the guys you'll find on YouTube that are actually mixing engineers, could do a way better job than me. So this, I'm really just doing a very basic mix just to try and get the feel of the song a little closer to what Sleep Token would do. I'm going to start with the kick drum. Okay, I think the kick sounds pretty close to the original. Yeah, the kick sounds pretty close. What doesn't sound close enough is the snare. I feel like the snare on here is much more punchy. Yeah, definitely needs more low mids. Yeah, there's quite a bit of difference here between my snare and theirs. Maybe we should try a different snare. Yeah, okay. Let's go with this snare. Yeah, let's hear it again. Okay, I think that's as close as I'm gonna get it for now. I think it's not the same type of snare, but this sounds a bit more punchy. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that for now. Let's check out what the cymbals are doing. I think the cymbals were a little more trashy. It's quite a dark sounding overhead. Where this sounds quite sparkly. I'm just going to add a slight low pass filter here. Yeah, that sounds a little closer to me. Sounds like there's a bit of a boost at 5K or so. Yeah, that sounds closer to the original. Okay, now let's add a bit of bus compression. That's nice. And then I don't even know if it needs more saturation, but maybe let's try. Yeah, that sounds good. So I think this so far sounds pretty good. Okay, I'm happy with drums. I'm gonna move to bass next. Let's hear how the bass is sounding in the original track. from what I can hear, there's a lot of sub low end, not much happening past like 1K. The guitars are pretty present around 150, 200 hertz. So I think I'm just going to cut a little bit of that from the bass. And then what I do want to do is just add a bit more presence to that low end with some saturation. Yes, that's nice. And then finally, I like to always just do a little bit of side chaining on the bass with the kick so that I'm not getting these massive low end peaks. Actually, I'm not going to do a full-on side chain. I'm just going to do some dynamic EQ here. So I'm going to just take a little dip here at 46, make it quite wide. I'm just making the attack and the release as quick as possible so you don't even notice any difference, because when the kick is adding a lot of 46 hertz, the bass sort of dips under it, and so it always evens out. Yep, that's good. Then I'm just gonna add a brick wall limiter to the bass here. So it's just kissing that threshold, so that there's no sort of peaks that jump out. And I'm actually gonna do the same on the kick. I don't want to squash it too much. I just don't want any loud hits to overpower the mix. Okay, I'm happy with that. Next, we are moving on to guitars. Now, this is where I think the mix is lacking the most at the moment. The guitars feel really flat compared to the song. So I'll do EQ second, but first I just want to get the energy of the guitars right. Okay, let's add a bit of saturation, bus saturation. Let's try this BB Tubes. Okay, I think we need some post compression. Okay, let's do some EQ matching now. So let's listen to these guitars. Immediately I can hear that there's a lot of high mids I've got that I need to cut. Yeah, definitely closer. Yeah, let's see how that all sounds. Yeah, it's a bit better. Okay, let's sort out this lead guitar now. I basically just cut some highs, boost some mids. That's basically all I did really. And added some compression. Okay, let's see how the pads are doing. I don't think I'm going to EQ the pads much. It sits pretty well in the mix already. I've just lowered it in volume a bit. One thing I did want to do is add some reverb to the snare. I think they've got quite a big reverb. Yeah, big sort of whole reverb on there. That's what it sounds like to me. So I'm just going to quickly add that. This. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's cool. It's nice and big. And then I'm also going to actually add the guitars. I know that it's going to risk it sounding a bit messy, but I'm just going to add it ever so slightly, just a little bit. Let's see what that sounds like. That actually made a huge difference to how it felt. Is just adding a bit of room send on Archetype Molly. You can see it's very low in the mix, minus 12 dB over here, but it just makes it sound that much more lively. Yeah, that's what it was missing. Oh man, so much better. Okay, let's add in our synth and all the rest of our pads and sound effects and all that. See how that's sounding now in the mix. yeah, I'm happy with this mix. I think it sounds good. Okay, I'm gonna export this and send it off to my mastering chain, make a few tweaks, and then listen back to the final product. Let's do it.
Later.
Alright guys, I've put on my mastering chain. Let's take a listen to this bad boy. Woo! Yeah! That was sick. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Man, I think it sounds like Sleep Token, but not too similar to get a lawsuit. I had a really great experience. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite part of this video was, and also let me know what you would have done differently if you had to write a Sleep Token style song. Just a reminder, I'm going to put the stems as well as the tabs and maybe even like presets. I'll put that all on my website. I'll put the link in the description. And if you want to improve your songwriting, you can grab my Modern Guitarist Song Finisher Roadmap for free in the description as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.